Hello, I am here with Christina Ivy, who's a spiritual mentor and an author. Mm-hmm. And Christina, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
You pretty much said it all. I'm a mother of 3 and I'm a passionate entrepreneur and just on the verge of taking on the world, sharing my passion, and it's mostly about manifestation and creating a life that's just so juicy that we're so thrilled to wake up in the morning.
Yeah. We just went through a talk with 3 other wonderful girls, and we were talking about self-love.
Mm.
So a lot of women experience that they actually the opposite thing, self-loathe, somehow, because they are taught to not loving their bodies and loving the way that we already look. And what are your views on that?
Self-love is like the subject missing in school and in everyday life. That's something I would really love to teach and bring back into our lives. I think if we learn how to love ourselves, especially when we're feeling a little bit bad, then everything would go a lot better than it does without self-love.
Yeah.
And it's easy to understand, but it's not so easy to practice in everyday life. And as soon as something goes wrong, it's like the first thing we're like kicking and screaming and shouting at ourselves.
Yeah. And you also talked about, when we were sitting on the sofa with the other girls, you talked about how the media have an effect on us.
The media, they make their money from advertisers and they have something to sell. So if they can broadcast the story that we're not, whole and beautiful and something's wrong with us, then we're more prone to buy their clothes or shoes or soap and shampoo and all that stuff. So that's kind of the deal there, to sell us into the idea that we're not perfect, and then.
So you think it's a deliberate thought from the advertisers to actually make new ideals for women that we cannot reach, because then we'll have to buy this product, or we have to...
Yeah, it's like the promise of, if you just get this thing, your life will be perfect, and then we get that thing, and then, we're on to the next new thing, and it's like this story of never being satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how do you heal that thing?
Yeah.
How do you get to the point where you can actually say, now I'm satisfied?
That's not like a 3-day course. It's like it's an ongoing journey, but it's all about getting back to basics and learning. What do I want, and then you have to express that and put that wanting out, and then you have to own that. So it's like a longer journey to go through that.
Yeah. How do you think we can? How do you think that we can start a new movement into being more whole, and think of ourselves as beautiful beings as we are, and not strive towards this crazy ideal that we cannot reach?
So one thing could be just notice your thoughts, and those thoughts create feelings and actions, and then they create results. So just notice what you're thinking and feeling and how you're acting and what you end up creating. And then try to just tweak that a little bit every day. If you've been saying some really bad stuff about yourself, maybe next time be a little bit more gentle, and then a little bit more gentle, and maybe if you tend to punish yourself and never give yourself a break, maybe introduce just one break, or I'm allowed to just have one flower every Thursday or whatever it is, and then build up from there.
Yeah. You also talked about in another interview about how you take care of yourself as a child.
Yeah.
That you see yourself as a child and treat yourself like a child.
I'm all about mothering, so it's more about being a very cool parent to myself, and when I'm working at the computer and I'm feeling a little bit tired, there's one part of me saying, keep on going and just finish the task. And then this cool mother comes out and she's like, just take a break and do you want to eat something or sleep or what do you need? And then, that brings my juice back and then I can continue working.
Yeah.
If I feel burned out, this mother
So
comes
asking
out.
yourself, if you were in a situation, if I was a parent, what would I say to myself in this moment now?
Yeah.
And not a criticizing parent, but a gentle and cool mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loving mom.
A loving mom. Great. And then the other subject that we talked about before was the subject of living one's full potential.
Yeah.
That's
like another shoot. Yeah. So we talked about the fact that I think we come with like very general potentials and very general wantings. It's all about having fun and learning owning our creative power basically, and just kind of, going through life and feeling, touching, smelling, all that stuff. And then of course we have some talents and we have something we're passionate about, and those things are always connected.
Yeah.
And so if we just stick to what feels good and what's fun, then we're all set. But most of us kind of do detours and in order to be wise and mature and all of that. Yeah.
So if we talk about full potential, could it just be a path that we are on, or should it be like, I've created this big thing and this big event and I made this book, or is it more staying on a path that is a full potential thing?
Our potential's like the sun, so we can't look at it. We can just a little bit and then we're back. So every day is all about just doing one step and then the next step and then the next step. And I think if we navigate after what's fun and what's nurturing, then we're on the right track. And then we'll accomplish books and plays and whatever we want to
be a flow of things that just comes to us if we're open to.
Yeah. Otherwise, it becomes too big of a theme. It's like I have to do 10 books by next year. That's not fun.
No. Yeah.
So,
But then it becomes pressure instead of a fun journey.
Yeah.
You were also talking about the thing about nurturing yourself. And I thought that was very interesting, the way you thought, the thoughts you have about that. Can you speak a little bit about that?
It's like view yourself as this very beautiful plant. You need soil, you need water, you need air, and you need the gardener to just tell you that you're beautiful. So I kind of tend to myself that way every day. So I make sure that I sleep constantly. Yeah. I eat and I sleep and I do fun stuff, and sometimes I feel like I need to do a little bit of shopping, or I need to watch a fun movie or call a girlfriend. And as soon as I don't do those things, I'm not, I can't produce much. So that's something I take very seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. I must have fun. It's very serious.
Yeah.
What do you do when you really want to have fun?
Oh, many things. I love being at home. I love having soft clothes, and I love to just watch a fun movie or play with my kids. And I also love to dance, go out, and I love beautiful food. Humor is very important.
Humor,
my kind of humor.
Of course. Yeah. Good. Do you have anything that you want to say that, like a closing message or?
I think it's very timely. I mean, many people, they're like wondering about manifestation, and they're thinking, I have to learn how to manifest. And my message would be, we're all professionals at that. We manifest from we wake up till we go to bed. The problem is not that we need to learn how to manifest. If there's a problem, it's more that we're manifesting and creating stuff that we don't like. Jobs we don't like, relationships we don't like, bodies we don't like, homes we don't
So
like.
you're saying actually it's our own responsibility because we create everything in our lives ourselves?
Yeah. So when people, they discover me when I come into their life, it's like they kind of just figured out that maybe I have something to do with this. And they're asking, but how? What's my role? How do I do this? And then I come along and I teach them how to get it more the way they want it instead of all those things that they're not so keen about.
Yeah. So what is that? If you should just sum up, what is that specific thing that you do?
Yeah, it's not something you can do like say one thing, but it's about owning your creative power, taking 100% responsibility for everything in your life, not being the victim, but being the creator, and always look inside instead of pointing outside of you, and viewing the world as a mirror.
Yeah.
And then slowly changing all the stuff you're not pleased about, and introducing more of the things you want. And that's a process. I mean, we couldn't do it overnight. That wouldn't be fun.
No.
So it's more about introducing more and more stuff every day.
Yeah. Yeah. And you also in the talk we finished off by talking about how our hearts actually have more to say in our lives than our brains.
Yeah, we talked about the fact that so many of us are brought up listening to the mind, and the mind is not very wise. It's all about fear and scare tactics. So I'm all about listening to the heart and our longings and the things we're wanting, and then let that be our guide. And that's not easy either, but it's the way to more joy.
Yeah, yeah. So listening to our hearts.
And then following the instructions.
Yeah.
All the
That
way.
comes from the heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. So that's basically what we want to do. Follow our hearts, and I want to thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you. Remember to follow those hearts.